I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
Aloha. Welcome to Unity Church of Maui. How great it is to see you in the flesh. Woohoo! Thank you for being here. Such an honor to be with you and a pleasure to see you. And so great to be at this place in our lives and to have this amazing teacher who gifted so many of us in so many different ways. And so we're going to celebrate her today. This, as you know, this is not a memorial service. I will do a memorial service in a few weeks, and you'll hear more about that in a couple minutes. But this is really a tribute to Mary and to her teachings. And today I'm going to take a number of her teachings that impacted my life and share them with you. And you may find that you may have even have heard some of the stories that I'll tell and some of the truth that I'll share with you today. I think I'm muted, aren't I? There we go. Is that better? All these sound things you got to remember. There we go. All right. Everybody heard everything I said, right? Okay.
No, repeat it.
There's always one in every crowd. That's why you always find the musicians off to the side somewhere, right? And thank you, Kurt, for being here today. What a blessing to have this. And I know that Mary loved you. I listened to a number of her talks in preparing this one, and in many of them, she shared a banter with Kurt that I also share with Kurt. And it's just, you're just amazing. You are just amazing. And so I just want to remind you, we advertise this as a safe event. So we are asking that you keep your masks on the entire service, fully, over your nose, over your chin, because we want this to be safe. I don't want to have a super spreader in my record. And if you need to go outside to change your mask or to get a breath, feel free to do that at any time. But thank you for honoring the safety that we have promoted for everybody. And behind me is an amazing altar with different things of Mary's. And I invite you to come up after the service and take a look at it. And in this amazing urn are Mary's ashes. And you have to see this. This is, it's got dolphins and whales on it. I've never seen anything like it. So come check it out after the service. So I thought that it'd be fun to start off today with some Mary. And so I'm going to show a video in a minute that is Mary at Overland Park back in September of 2014. And she starts off in what you will recognize as such a typical Mary way. And she tells us a wonderful story, maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't, of going to be with the Dalai Lama. So let's, Mary, are you there? Well, she wanted us to share this affirmation first of all, which is everything is holy now and something wonderful is happening right here. Say that with me. Everything is holy now and something wonderful is happening right here.
Was filled with people that had bona fide, certified miracles. I'm talking, the doctor said go home and prepare, and they're sitting there with their grandchildren. The journey that we're on, and today I'm looking around at a group of people that started working out there in the world, building houses for Habitat, working with microloans, taking the love of God to the world. And I want to say to every one of you, what an honor. what a privilege to stand in your frequency and your vibration of love. And since I love you so much, and it'd really be good for me to take the heels off for all of us, I haven't worn closed-toed shoes for 6 years. I still have the hose that I left Overland Park with in 19. You know, you might need them. Oh, well, let me just say aloha. Aloha. And let me just honor this amazing team. I got off a red eye on Pentecost in last June. Flew in from Maui, got to the airport, got a friend to drive me here, and I sat in this community for the first time, just sitting there. I felt the grace and the power and the beauty. I was so blessed until people sent me the photographs of what I looked like. I felt so good it didn't occur to me that maybe that red eye had taken its toll. You know, I went to Dharamsala to be with the Dalai Lama for a couple of months, and I put down on this little form, I said, I'm the Unity Minister in Maui, and do you know they rushed me through customs, they picked me up in a Dalai Lama car, they put me in this suite, they walked me through security, and I was thinking, wow, now that's how it ought to be. You know, you do that long trip, you know, but basically what it was I was in the hotel that there's 13 rooms. It's where Richard Gere stays. I thought I might get lucky. Actually, I did. I got transferred down, and he and I were the only two people at another place because all of the lamas were coming in. Not at this time, but another time I was there. Every lama in the world was coming in because, you know, the Dalai Lama, they always have a successor to the Dalai Lama and the Pacha Lama. The Chinese took him. You guys know that story? The Chinese took the Pachalama, the real one, and they installed their own. And the Dalai Lama says, it doesn't work like that. Some of us do that with consciousness, don't we? We think we can jump. But consciousness evolves. Consciousness we earn. Consciousness we grow in, right? You just can't say, okay, I'll just be the next Dalai Lama. Although he did say it would be helpful if he would come as a woman. I asked him. He said, if that would be helpful, I would come. But he said that era may be over. That era of having that kind of spiritual, it may be over. Because we're waking up, right? Isn't that wonderful? So there I am, just basking in for 3 or 4 weeks, really, wow, this is amazing. These Tibetans are so honoring, so wonderful. And then 13 rooms in this little hotel, and somebody from Maui shows up. I mean, what are the chances? There's only 120,000 people that live on Maui, and one of them shows up in this 13 room. And as they're explaining that the mayor, I don't know, the mayor from Unity, it must be me, right? She said, we don't have a woman mayor. Oh. So being the minister of Unity in Maui suddenly didn't have the same vibration. And lucky for me, I had been gracious and wonderful to all the help, because I soon was relegated to where the help eat and where the help is. And they took me into their homes and they welcomed me, so it turned out to be a glorious thing, truly glorious.
And what Mary said, if you couldn't hear, was that they thought she was the mayor of Maui. And so they, oh, the mayor is here, right? And I heard that they thought she was a minister, you know. That's what I heard before. It was like a minister position, like in a governmental sort of role. Mary loved to tell jokes, didn't she? And she's always doing something silly and dancing and fun. And this is a joke that I've heard her tell a couple times, and I couldn't resist telling it today. You know, Jesus and Moses were playing golf, and they came to a par 3 hole, and it was a long shot over the lake onto an island, and the green was on this island. So Moses tees off with his 3-wood, and it goes whoo, over the over the water and lands on the green. And he's like, okay, there you go, Jesus, show me what you can do. So Jesus says, well, I'm going to use this here 5-iron because I saw Tiger Woods make this shot from right here with his 5-iron. And Jesus tees up and he whack, he hits the ball and it's sky high. It zooms up, 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 and down, down, and into the water, about 25 yards short of the island. So Jesus turns to Moses and he says, hey, how about parting the water so I can play the ball where it lies? And Moses says, no way. You foolishly chose the wrong club because of your Tiger Woods fantasy, and I'm not going to be a party to it. So Jesus shrugs and he walks out on the water just to where the ball went in. And as he's standing there, a foursome shows up and drives up on the tee box just as Jesus is walking on the water. And one of them asked Moses, who does this guy think he is? Jesus Christ? Moses turns and says, no, he thinks he's Tiger Woods. Does anybody know who Werner von Braun is? Ooh, okay, well, Mary promised splitting her salary to whoever could answer that question correctly. So you can figure out how to do that. I can't be a party to that, as Moses would say. So Mary tells the story of Werner von Braun. He's a German-born American aerospace engineer and space architect. He was a leading figure in the development of the rocket technology in Nazi Germany. And he was also a pioneer of space technology in the United States. And he had on the walls in his kitchen, in his bathroom, in his living room, all over, he had written the word for love in German, which is Liebe. And he said that the power of love can catapult you into your genius power. When you are thinking loving thoughts, you are literally catapulting yourself into genius consciousness. Don't you know that's true? When you are acting in love, you are launching yourself into infinite possibility. And you can catch the vibration of and the higher frequency that Mary so frequently talked about. Now, von Braun was sitting with a group of scientists at NASA, and they were talking about sending a rocket through the Van Allen radiation belt that I have here, that I pictured here. And the Van Allen radiation belt is a zone of energetically charged particles, most of which originate from the solar wind that are captured and held around a planet by the planet's magnetic field. And Earth has 2 such belts. Now, this may be more science than you want to hear, but I think you'll understand the concept. At that time, there were no known materials that could go through this radiation belt without burning up. So, one of Van Braun's scientists, in the middle of their discussion, raised his hand and said, I just don't think we can do it. And von Braun looked at him and said, then I don't think you should be working here. If you don't believe that we can send a rocket into space, then you need to leave. Do you know anyone who does not believe that we live in a spiritual universe and that we can transform our lives by practicing spiritual principles? We know that's true, don't we? Those of us who practice these teachings know that that's true. And Mary said, And I love this picture of Mary with this hat on. If you don't believe that you can transform your life through the principles that we teach, well, we won't tell you that you don't belong here, but we will ask you to stick around, because we are going to offer you principles that help you to connect with your higher self and your God self and your spiritual self, so that you can be transformed and know that everything is holy now. The principles that Reverend Mary taught are the very same principles that we teach every week here at Unity Church of Maui. And I'd like to share with you some of the spiritual truths that she taught that have moved me, and I imagine some of them have moved you too. The first spiritual principle is that you can transform your life by changing or raising the vibration of your thoughts and beliefs. You know that's true, don't you? We like to say thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. In other words, what we think about, we attract to us. This came out way before The Secret did, and the idea of that, we've known this for 100 years. So it is done. We experience the universe reacts to us in accordance with our beliefs. So where is the work in consciousness building? Is it out there? It's here. The work that we get to do happens right here. This is where it happens. There's one vibration, as Mary would say, and we are part of that vibration. And as we work on our spiritual consciousness, it raises our vibration to that place where we can connect with ourselves, the presence of God that's everywhere. Everything is holy now. And something wonderful is happening right here. Don't you know that that's true? They say wherever two or more are gathered, there I am in the essence. The second principle that Mary taught was the importance of prayer and meditation. And in her little book that she wrote, Let Your Soul Write Your Future Diary, she says, I don't think I have this up here. No. She says, our spiritual practices of silence, affirmative prayer, spiritual study, introspection, self-awareness, and sacred service are the foundation out of which everything arises. All our heart's desires and our efforts reflect back to us how we are advancing on our path of self-realization. Don't you know that true? We get to see it in our world because our world is a reflection of our spiritual consciousness. Mary was very fond of Myrtle Fillmore. Anybody know who Myrtle Fillmore is? Anybody know? Okay. Myrtle Fillmore was a co-founder of Unity, and Myrtle Fillmore wrote, "In the silence, we shall experience the very presence of God, and we shall discern just how we are going to go about living this gift of life that we are given." Isn't that so true? By connecting with our higher self through prayer and meditation, we can discern how we can go about living this life. Mary wrote, "It has been said that enlightenment is an accident, and if that's true, prayer and meditation and sacred service make us accident prone." I love that because it is the things that happen in his life that sometimes seem like accidents, which are really the keys to our spiritual development, aren't they? The challenges we have are the opportunities that we get to turn into spiritual awareness and transform through spiritual awareness. Everything is holy now, and something wonderful is happening right here. The third principle that Mary taught was the importance of connecting with the presence of God within us. She liked to quote Meister Eckhart, and Meister Eckhart said, "What does it matter if Christ was born in Bethlehem 10,000 times? If Christ is not born in me today." Mary said, "What does it matter until the divine is born in you? It doesn't make any difference until the divine is born in us." Jesus could have been born 1,000,000 times. And he was here to be that demonstration of what we can experience in our life. When we experience that connection to and the birth of that presence of Christ within, which isn't about being a person, it's connecting with the divine essence of who we are and the power of love that's within us. Mary says that she used a Meister Eckhart quote for 7 years while she was in ministerial school, as well as when she went into ministry. And I love this quote. He wrote, "There is an agent within our soul that is active and responsive to the very presence of God." Active and responsive. When you practice silence, when you touch the hem of the garment, you will feel the peace. You will feel the joy. You will feel the love. Because there's nothing out there. The agent within our soul is not only active and responsive to God, this agent within our soul allows us to create. And Mary would say, "So, what are you creating?" No shame, no guilt, no upset. Are you creating heaven? Or is y'all just creating something a little south of there? Mary said that quote with a southern accent, so I had to throw that in. Everything is holy now, and something wonderful is happening right here. The fourth spiritual principle that Mary taught was the power of forgiveness. Mary says, "If you have any unforgiveness to any person on this planet, that you would not desire to have the fullness of God's presence," one person, guess who it blocks first? If we but not forgive one person for something that we perceive they've done to us, it keeps us from being connected to the essence and the power of Spirit that designs to move through us His absolute love. That's powerful, isn't it? That's enough to scare the bejeebies out of you, though, isn't it? I'm going to go home and get my prayer beads out and start forgiving everybody. So where is the work? It's in us, isn't it? Again, the work is in us. So take a deep breath. This is such an amazing concept, this idea of forgiveness. And I think it's, Jesus taught really two basic concepts, forgiveness and love, both of which are so important for our spiritual transformation. David Hawkins wrote, "There are 6.5 billion people on this planet whose primary function is to reveal to you what hasn't been healed." Isn't that great? Woohoo! Ever find that they show up once in a while? Mary would say, that's why they're in your life. If your button gets pushed, if you are upset, and your first response isn't love and appreciation, you have some work to do. Can't you see Mary saying that? And she says, hopefully you'll act with compassion. Hopefully your thought will be, I wonder if they're in a hurry. I wonder if they're hurting. I wonder what's happening in their life that's causing them to respond this way, causing them to push my buttons. Or what is it in me? That's right. Because we get buttons pushed. Why? Because we have them, right? And it's our work. So she says, if our first thought doesn't go to compassion, who gets to be healed? Mary said, it doesn't matter if that person pushing your buttons is in the White House. She says, remember what Michael Beckwith said? It's not who is in the White House, it's who is in your house. Not meaning literally your house. Well, it could be, but really, she's talking about consciousness, isn't she? What is in your house of consciousness if something is pushing your buttons? And she says, if love and compassion is in your house, it will reflect to whoever is in the White House. I love Mary's bluntness and her honesty, right? So often, I can remember going home and going, oh my God, do I have some work to do? So, and Mary would say, sometimes we might say, you know what, this is too much, I don't want to do this. Ever said that? I don't think I want to do this spiritual stuff, right? It's too much work. And we had that choice, but we're a special breed of people who follow these principles. And Mary said this. She said, guess what? You are on the love course. If you didn't choose love, this church and these teachings will not serve you. If you do not make a whole soul commitment to serve love, you will never be happy here. You'll never be happy in your family. You'll never be happy in your life, because you will try and change the minister, the board, your friends, your family, everything except that which needs to be changed. And you know who that is, right? Mary says, if you think there's someone out there that needs to change for you to be happy, I'll tell you some churches you might be happier in. Everything is, say it with me, everything is holy now, and something wonderful is happening right here. The fifth thing that Mary taught was the necessity of love. Mary wrote, can you imagine loving your life as well as all of the people in your life? Can you imagine loving the environment, loving your home, loving your playtime, even loving the people that aggravate you? Can you imagine loving them? Even loving the daily tasks that have to be done by you, like taking out the garbage or getting the plumbing fixed or doing the dishes. When you love every aspect of your life, this is heaven. Whew. And there's Mary with I love that with the love sign. Mary wrote, George Washington Carver, at the time of severe segregation and lack of education for Black Americans, invented over 100 practical uses for the peanut. Many of his patents are still in effect today and reaping great benefits. Carter said that he spent many hours in the field loving the peanuts, listening to them, being fully present to them. Now, if you were doing that today, they'd probably arrest you, right? What are you doing in the field? I'm talking to the peanuts. Carver said that they would tell him what they could be used for and even how to do it. And then Carver would go into his laboratory and follow their instructions. He said this, I love this. Anything will give up its secrets if you love it enough. Wow. How does that work for us? If we can love ourselves enough, our spirit will give up the secrets to inform us how we can experience more love, more peace, more joy. If we can just love our partners, if we can love the stranger on the street, if we can love the people who don't look like us or act like us or believe like us, what are they going to do? They're going to love us in return. Such a huge message, I think, for today. Mary wrote, look at every aspect of your life and imagine yourself living at such a high vibration that it looks like heaven. I have a quote on my altar, she says, that simply states, live like there is heaven on earth. Whew. Wow, so simple. Mary said, if you practice these teachings, you will be transformed. I promise. Everything is holy now. Something wonderful is happening right here. Love will catapult you into your genius power. When you are thinking loving thoughts, you are literally catapulting yourself into genius consciousness. When you are acting with love, you are launching yourself into the field of infinite possibility. Will you catch the vibration and the higher frequency and be totally transformed? You know, these practices that Mary taught and that we teach, these unity principles, are designed to bring out the genius in you. Everything is holy now. Say it with me. Everything is holy now. And something wonderful is happening right here. So we're blessed today. Through modern technology, I've asked Mary to come and do a meditation for us. So here is a meditation that Mary did at Unity Chapel at Unity Village some time ago. So I invite you now to prepare your love offerings and your contributions to Unity Church of Maui, and to thank you in advance for your gifts that you so lovingly give and that allow us and empower us to keep doing this work that we are so blessed to be able to do. And I know that as you give to us, that you are a part of this ministry, and that you are holding the vision and celebrating love and living that love with us. So thank you for your gifts. And as you prepare them, you can place them on the floor under your chair, leave them on your seat when our service is over with. It's not yet. We've got a couple more things to share. But as we hold our gifts or think of our gifts, let's pray and affirm together our prayer and affirmation of prosperity which begins, through a grateful giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing, infinite supply. Today's flowers, by the way, are donated by Rev Mary Omwake. These were part of her things, and we've lovingly taken them on, and we'll use them here for our services and always to remember Mary. I've got a couple announcements today. Next Sunday is Mother's Day, and my Sunday talk is titled, She is My First Great Love. This is a D.H. Lawrence inspired this talk. He wrote, she is my first great love. She was a wonderful and rare woman you do not know, as strong and steadfast and generous as the sun. So next week we'll talk about the qualities of motherhood. Mary always referred to mother as divine mother, the motherly energy. So we'll talk about that next week, and I'll share with you a little bit about what I've learned from my two mothers. And that was a miracle in itself, but you'll have to come around next week to, actually I won't spend too much time talking about that. Anyway, so that'll be fun, and this service will be like, next week's service will be like this service. It'll be 20 people only. We're asking people to wear masks and be social distance. This is the pattern for us in the short term going into the future. Our Sunday services will be one or more services like this. You'll need to sign up for them in advance. And all of what I'm about to tell you, there are sign-up sheets for on the lanai. So if you're interested in being a part of any of these services, I'd encourage you to sign up today. Numerous people were calling us in the last few days saying, oh, can I come? You know, Mary did this for me, and Mary saved my life. And I had to say, I'm sorry, you know, we're limiting it, the amount of services. So if you want to come, you have the first opportunity today to sign up. So upcoming services for Mary, we'll do a Sunday service on May 16th, which is a Sunday, of course. We'll do two services the way it looks right now. And our prayer chaplains will be putting this service together, sharing with us Mary truth and Mary stories. And I'm sure that they have an abundance of them between our four prayer chaplains. So that, I'm sure, will be a very inspiring and wonderful service. Also, I'm planning on doing a memorial service for Mary on Sunday, May 23rd. And we are planning 3 one-hour services, so it'll be like today, in the sense of the amount of people that can attend each service. We'll do a service at 9:30, 11, and 1:30. And I understand that there's also a virtual service that you can't sign up for here because it's virtual. And that'll be presented on May 12th, at 12 on May 15th. And that's going to be a virtual service, probably Zoom or some related way. Mary's 3 churches, Overland Park, Kansas, Linwood, Washington, and Unity Church of Maui will participate in that. So that should be a very moving service, and that'll be happening again on May 15th. And you might know that we are doing Aloha groups here, which are small groups that meet on Zoom, and we're studying this book called Happy This Year by Will Bowen. Anybody remember who Will Bowen is? His last book was titled A Complaint-Free World. I remember we had the purple bracelets. I think Mary did this back in the day also. This was a huge movement. That book, A Complaint-Free World, over 6 million people, by the way, got those purple bracelets. But this one, no bracelet with this one, but what you get to have is to be happy and be happy this year. There's a sign-up sheet for this online Zoom class out on the patio. We started last week, but we have openings for anybody else who wants to participate in it. And as you know, we are doing a capital campaign for a new shuttle because we are anticipating being back in this building fully sometime. And so, and so we are raising funds. We've already raised $6,000 of our $10,000 goal. And some people have told me that there's more coming. And so I just really like to encourage you, if you come here or you want to help us have this van so we can shuttle people back and forth. You know, our parking here is very limited, and we really want, ideally, have the parking on our property for elderly or handicapped people or new people. And so that's our goal. So thank you for contributing to that. There will be no more Zoom meetings. We've been meeting on Zoom for a year, and it's been kind of fun. I can show up in my pajamas with an Aloha shirt on and we record the talks, but that changed today, and so we'll be doing them here. So we will not be doing the Zoom meetings on Sunday morning, but we will film the services and put them up on YouTube. And we will be on Facebook Live at 9:30 on Sunday mornings. And that'll start next week. And if you love our services, which I hope you do, you can find more of them on our YouTube channel. We've got amazing music by this amazing musician back here and many of our other friends, Omar and so many others. And recently I posted a Ho'oponopono meditation that I invite you to check out. And I believe it's very transforming and relaxing and very healing. So that's on our YouTube page, Unity Church of Maui YouTube page. So with all that being said, let's take a breath. And as we begin to close out this time together, I'd like to share with you a poem that Reverend Mary wrote. And I believe she wrote it for us. And it's titled, Child of God. Child of God, I think of you. I pray with you. Not for what I think you are to do or to be. I lift my thoughts about you. I see you like God sees you. I see you filled with light and love and happiness. I see you making wise and good decisions. I see you enjoying everything that's good about your life. I see you living in the consciousness of more than enough. I see you healthy, strong, and doing the work you love. I see every good and noble dream in your heart being realized. Thank you, Mary. And then let's say the prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Thank you for being here today, my friends. God bless you, and see you soon.
Where I live, they're all raised